Welcome to the Grief Pie Podcast. This is a show where we motivate and inspire men to share their grief one bite at a time. Thanks for tuning in and adding your voice and stories so that we can all heal and find joy together. Now please welcome your hosts, Gary Scott and James Rafter.
Hey, Jimma. Hey, guys. Listen, welcome to another episode of Grief Pie, and that is my brother, Jimma. He and I are going to touch on a subject today, which is kind of not near and dear to our heart, but it's a touchy subject. Struggling with this can be tough for a lot of guys and gals. So basically today we're going to talk about dating, relationships, and sex after the passing of our spouse. And what's it like to be widowers? I don't know what we are, Jim, but what's it like to
Which
be...
I think we're widowies.
Are we widowies? Okay, so
widowies.
What's it like for willowies to be widowers out there? And when do you go? What's the deal? There's a lot there, buddy. So I know you're new. I'm 9 years in. You're 2 years. But still, there was guilt, there was grief, we had to deal with family, friends. I mean, how you being new to this, how's it going with you trying to get back in the game, so to speak?
So we got to this little subject because I'm on this 30-day journey around the United States, just hitting spots and finding Christmas with family and Notre Dame game, next week. But I was at a hotel bar. Again, I hit a lot of hotel bars when I'm out and about, and started chit-chatting up this super cute couple from Florida. Again, when I say super cute, they're, older, but they were adorable and liked to chit-chat. And so we were just chit-chatting. And again, like I do all the time, I get raw and just let people know I don't hide from why I'm alone or whatever. So as we're talking, comes out that they're widower, widowies. They're both second marriages after the loss of their spouses. I think the husband was 3 years, the wife was 10 years, something like that.
Now, is this since they passed, or they remarried again? It's just like he's 3 years from when his wife passed, and she's 10 years from the... Okay.
Yeah, so this is their...
That's almost like you and I.
Yeah, so that's exactly...
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we're bringing this up, is that's right. The whole premise of where I came up with, let's talk about this, because I got into, well, I'm not going to say it, but I'll say it. I got into a 2 whiskey conversation.
Only 2?
Just 2. Finn had to go poop. Okay. Stay much longer. But we're sitting up on the top of this hotel terrace bar overlooking the city of Nashville, which I am moving to, by the way. So any girls in Nashville that want this little pasty man, I'll be there in a while. So just know it.
So that brings me, after that brings me to this couple, but also for you specifically, and we could touch on this couple again, but for you specifically, I mean, I did a complete shit show belly flop after April passed. I mean, I jumped in fast, right? Because I was running hard from the grief and the death and stuff like that. That created a ton of guilt, got a lot of shit from family and friends. So you're getting back out there, right? So what's the deal? How's family and friends how are they relating to you talking about your dating prowess?
I have made some mistakes. Go figure.
Shocker. Didn't see that coming.
I may have, made a very old friend a little nervous. Because I may have, I I may have fired the cannons too soon across the border, but
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is that like ED or premature? I mean, what does that mean when you fired the cannons too soon? Is there some sort of
there was a
subliminal
lot of
message?
conversation. There was a lot of conversations, and this is really true, by the way. There was a lot of conversations about, hey, no, you're only a couple of months away from having just buried your wife, and I don't want to be in that position um too soon. And then I talked her into it, and then I threw up, literally threw up all over myself as I went on our first date. And this is someone I've known for a long, long time, right? And we're and always be best friends. But literally in the Uber going to the restaurant, I had him pull over to throw up because I'm like, what am I doing? Just
You
I'm
know,
with some.
you know that in some cultures, vomit is a delicacy. I'm just showing that out there. So it's not a
You didn't want
Pokemon
it.
thing.
You didn't want any part of this vomit. So I'm puking. And
No,
she was
so what
awesome.
happened? Was she in the Uber?
Yeah, we were together and I had the Uber driver pull over and I'm puking. I won't even give you the city, but I'm puking and such a loser.
So,
Loser, loser,
so
loser.
basically, so basically, was that like a great pickup move? I mean, did it work?
Well,
Did you have a toothbrush?
we are still really, really good friends and we
All
love
right.
each other to death. I think she's still terrified about, where I'm at, which is fair. Um, you have a different experience because we had talked about this last year when I was first telling you about the girl I wanted to date, and your comments were, well, you know, I'm known around here. No, you
Stop.
skewed. I'm known around here. It's like it's open season on Gare Bears hunting. So
Yeah,
and everyone want a little piece of Gare Bear,
little
where I'm
piece.
not. I'm not as much as that, and so,
Well, I mean, we talk about, I mean, you think that you made some mistakes, right? Moi, Mr. Brilliant, right? Running from the grief, feeling all this pain, people telling me, dude, you got to slow down and try to heal. No. I meet an amazing, wonderful woman with a great son right out the gate. 4 months later, muchacho, or five, something like 4 or 5 months later, we're engaged. Now, most people are beyond horrified, and for some reason they're mad at her. They're like, how could you possibly say yes to an engagement from a dude who, after a 30-year marriage, wife dies and you start dating? So she got a lot of shit for that. But
that's
so your gal, because she'd known you, right, was more
yeah.
like, yeah, I can make this work. I loved Jen. I've known Jim forever. We can make this work because we're friends, right?
So I thought, well, again, the book's still open on where we go with that. Um, just because we have so many things in common, and again, I'm gonna get really funny with y'all. Can you hear the background noise?
No.
Okay, good. So my brother-in-law is getting ready for Christmas, and he's vacuuming the back patio right now.
All
But
right. Well,
I digress.
we're gonna edit that out because this video might not come out until like February. So we got no holiday
Whatever.
talk.
Uh, so I didn't know. I knew I wanted, and one of my comments to her was I had spent 3.5 years with Jen as she slowly died caregiving. So the relationship evolved from what we had to what it became, which was, me taking care of her every day. and not and sexual. Again, we never stopped loving each other. I never stopped kissing her, but all the other physical uh, attributes of a relationship kind of stopped. So I wanted that back, without having to pay for it. So, I did it.
Right?
I said it. God damn. But
Hey,
it's
hey, man, we all need a release. And the truth and the thing about that is this is a super important topic because I went into reluctantly, I went into a men's grief group while April was sick. And because we wanted to get with other caretakers and caregivers, whatever they call us. And it was like, maybe you can get some feedback and stuff from other dudes, right? So I go into this room this very first time, and the guys there, all they wanted to talk about was that they're cheating on their wives, right? Who they're hitting, they're doing their secretary or whatever. And I'm like, dude, your freaking wife is dying. I mean, I understand you need relief. We all do. But that horrified me, right? I mean, it's not like that's like was their topic. And then April told me in the women's group, the women were in there talking about how their husbands are cheating on them because they've lost their bodies and all this, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
it was a really horrifying thing. So, I mean, that was one of the things April and I talked about a lot because let's face it, when your wives were getting as decimated as your Jen and my April, and when you see what happens to them, they're not interested in the hoochie coochie, and you're not either. You're just in survival mode, right? So
Yeah.
when that significant other passes, yeah, your animalistic, normal human emotions kick in. You're like, dude, yeah, right? I want to go out and date.
Yeah. And I was probably a little different than you. And again, we parallel a lot of things, right? But we also kind of went two different roads. Um, I didn't I didn't do as much as you did because I don't go out. I worry about the kids and all that. I just had other things going on. I did focus on closer friends relationships versus getting out to bars. I don't go to bars. I don't pick up folks other than again widowed couples that at a Hampton Inn in Nashville. So
Well, listen, I wasn't going out to bars. I mean, I literally met, I think I had a glass of wine with one gal, and then I met the gal I ended up getting engaged to. So I had like two dates. I wasn't in bars. We were fixed up kind of dates. And so no, I went from, no dating, no bars. I hadn't been out of the game for 30 years, right? We just hit it off. And the thing was, is she was super funny, not as funny as me, but she was super funny. She was light. It was just nice to laugh, right? And spend time with someone who wasn't dying, and just laugh,
yeah.
get out, go to dinner, just have some companionship. You know what I mean? So,
Oh
but I mean, it's a fine line, right?
yeah. The companionship aspect is huge because um again, as Jen deteriorated and died, we lost all that, and then it just became, in our situation, hospice, critical hospice. 2 weeks of dying, and family coming in, and it was just crazy, impossible, and um, but I do wear as a badge of courage that I never, ever cheated on Jen in our lifetime together, especially as, she deteriorated. It just became my life mission to just get her over the line,
Yeah,
so to speak.
people will never, ever, ever understand what you took on as a caretaker. And like you had told me, you go, COVID was a blessing for me because I had to stay home 24/7 anyways. And I mean, I was with April 24/7 for the 2 years, but she didn't have the physical ailments. I mean, she was dying of cancer. There was massive pain. I was at every chemo, I was at every doctor appointment. I mean, we were breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you physically were like a nurse. I mean, like a caretaker. I mean, what you went through was 100 times worse than what I went through. I mean, just getting through that, bro. I mean, you deserve to come out of that and find relief and find a date and find it out. You deserved that, right? And Jen was probably looking down, going, "Get some, bro." I mean, you need, I mean, you right? I mean, you paid your
Yeah,
dues.
Jen put out 3 or 4 names and said, these are okay.
That's right. And she had even talked about gals you should be with after she passed, right? See, that's who she
You do
was.
that?
That's who she was, right? She cared. She was already trying to take care of you afterwards, or even when
Yeah.
she's not
So
here.
she had the dates. I'm not going to give up the names, but
No. So, but let me ask you because I mean, do the kids know that you're dating ish?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I told
And so,
everyone.
but are you getting any shit from family and friends? Like it's too soon type of thing?
No, even my 95-year-old super Catholic aunt is like, yeah, do whatever you got to do. You earned it.
Yeah, I've
So,
already apologized to your aunt about that last episode, so let's not bring her up again. I'm not going there again. But so it's interesting because the guilt of jumping in real quick um and bearing the grief, like running from the grief, running from the pain and finding it in a relationship, I that was really tough for me. And when I woke up, as amazing as this gal was, as much as, we were living together, we were engaged, I loved her son, took him on as mine. My boys loved her son. Um, but still, all of a sudden I wake up and it's like, holy crap, I shouldn't be here. I haven't healed. I'm a train wreck. And so I left, and it was a devastating experience, and that's why I was telling you, slow down, bro, Chacho. Slow down a little bit. Let's get you healed before you can, take on another human.
yeah, and I learned that um with this gal. And again, we're still best friends. We'll probably date again down the line, on her pace, whatever. It's it was me, and I went too fast, but I didn't know what I again, there's no rule book, there's no manual on how to do this. It's you know what, you know, dead, cremation, buried her, party, for my in my situation, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, man. One day I was telling my sister this morning, yeah, last year was just a blur this time of year. I couldn't remember it if you asked me to write a paper on it. It was just
Yeah.
one big blur. And I feel bad that I wasted a little bit of that time with her on that. Because she's a special lady and I like her a lot. Um, so hopefully I can fix that at some point, but we'll see.
Like the gal that I ended up with getting engaged with and stuff, we were able to make it work as friends. Just adore her. She's still awesome. It was just really bad thing, and I think what was interesting is she got beaten up so much. Like people blamed her when I left instead of blaming me. Like, what were you doing jumping into that? And it's funny after that, there's not a lot of single guys my age in Palm Springs area, that
Okay, never mind.
right. So I had the benefit of having some great gals, with dates and things like that. But there's funny how um only a couple would say, well, how long is your wife in debt, right? Because they see you're a widow, widower, willow tree, whatever we are. So my current wife, because yes, I've luckily I've remarried to this
Yeah,
amazing.
you have a beautiful,
Oh,
amazing one.
oh, she's awesome. So she's my best friend in the world, and so she was one of the only ones that said, "Oh, by the way, how long has April been gone?"
Yeah.
Because she's like, listen, I've been in enough rebounds. I've been in enough fix and flip missions. I don't want any more. So if your ass is new to this, I'm not interested.
Right. Yeah, well, she's pretty grounded. So you got really lucky, but it took you a few years, right? 6 years, right? Because you've only been married, what, 3 years to Lisa. And so it took
Yeah,
you
it
five,
it
six
it
years.
yeah, it was six and a half years after April passed that Elisa and I met. And funny enough, just because of like COVID, everyone's locked down. We met on Facebook. Then even this morning, we were talking about who friended who. Like, how did that happen, right? Because I mean, how
Right.
did we become friends? But then she has very few friends on Facebook. She's kind of private on Facebook. I'm a babbling idiot, but I had been in a coaching program and they said, listen, get to 5,000 friends as fast as you can, and it'll expose your real estate business to more people. You got to. So anyone who came across that scroll that said, you may know this person, I'm like, friend. But she looked at us and we have like 200 mutual friends, which is kind of crazy because I didn't know her. And she saw that we had a lot in common and a lot of mutual friends, so she accepted my friend's request, and then she couldn't stop hitting on me.
Well, because you're a
Can you
gorgeous
blame
little
her?
man. You're a gorgeous little man.
Oh, little is key. Little is the key word there. Even after she found out that I'm a little man, she still likes me.
She does. You guys are cute together. And again, I'm learning so much from you. You're like, my little angry elf mentor. Um, without you, I don't know where I would be. And I appreciate everything you you know you give to me as far as some of your history and experiences. Because I again, we'll go out to everyone listening. I said everyone listening. There's no playbook. It's day by day. It is, you wake up and you go, what? I mean, I'm in Nashville at the hotel and I look across the street and there's this beautiful apartment complex. And I'm like, going to Nashville. I'm going to move to Nashville.
Why not? I mean,
Why not?
you
Right?
can work from anywhere, and
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, you you've been traveling and you are doing this awesome, on the road with Jim road trip, which should be its own podcast. But you didn't technically run like I did. And I mean, I hurt my family, I hurt some friends because I freaking picked up and ran, right? And because I wanted that companionship, I wanted that relationship, and I wanted to leave this darkness that I'd been in, right? And so it's like,
Yep.
if this gal's open to relationship, I'm open to relationship, right? Because I don't want to be in this place where I am anymore. And you did that to an extent with your friend who you've known for a long time, but I still think you were pretty grounded considering, as far as like relationships go.
So, yeah, with that, we both have two boys, right? And having sons is a little different and then I have my daughter. And it makes a big difference um, when your daughter looks at you and says, "You can't run away, Dad." Because I was taking the motor home and I was going to Baja, and you all were never going to see me again. And I got the "you can't, Dad," and then all of a sudden I've got you know, um, my granddaughter, baby A, and hopefully, say a prayer, by March we'll have adopted Scarlet, baby Scar, um, for my daughter, and yeah. So then now you just got a different thing to live for, other than just running and hiding on a beach somewhere, which I really wanted to do, and we've
So
talked about this.
yeah, so but and that's a whole nother podcast. So wrapping it back up, because I know we've been going for a little while. This the widow and widower, or whatever those we are, people that you met, had they had some experiences with crash and burn missions? I mean, did they just hold out and they got lucky and met people and now they're married, or did they tell you tales of some of their
we
own
didn't get
relationship?
too we didn't get too involved in how they, and I don't know, it would have been kind of weird. Probably not. I don't know, I probably could have probed a little bit more.
Mhm. But still,
But
she was 10 years out and he was 3 years out when they
something
met.
like, yeah, or vice versa. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
But see
it
this,
was fairly new.
and that's what I've discovered though. I mean, that's what I found. Women are so much stronger than men. Chicks will go forever without a dude. They'll be like, you know what? I've got girlfriends, I've got this, I've got that. I don't need a dude, right? I'd like a dude. I don't need a dude, right? Guys are like, I need a companion. I want to be with someone. So I've noticed in just through this 9 years of me going through this cancer stuff is that it's most likely guys who get jump back in more quickly, and women kind of take longer. They wait longer. They're smarter than us and stronger than us and better than us.
They are stronger,
And they
and that is
smell better. They smell better than
well, I don't know. I use some pretty good hairspray, and uh, so uh, I use a Tresemme, and it helps. Anyway, I
I'm sure.
digress. But no, as I'm on this journey for the next, I've been on the road for a few weeks, and it'll by the time I'm done, it'll be 5,000 miles and 30 plus days, 8, 9, 10 states. I just want to do what I've always done, which is text Jen or text text a
Mhm.
partner. Here's where I'm at. Here's what I just went to Bucky's. What do you want from Bucky's? There's a cute pink shirt, and I got nothing to buy at Bucky's. And hopefully someone listening to this thing knows what a Bucky's is. That's the South.
Y'all, y'all go,
Y'all,
y'all going to Bucky's.
you
Y'all
can
go to
get
Bucky's.
you go to Bucky's and it's a Walmart gas station on steroids.
Yeah,
It's
massage parlor, nail salon, meat market. But you haven't dated a lot, but of the gals that you've reached out with to or whatever, has any of them asked? And they say, how long has it been since your wife passed, or they don't care because you're so freaking hot?
well, I think I'm hot. I tend to be open anyway. And so it just kind of comes out, right?
Yeah,
Again, the one gal, she knew intimately um when I lost Jen, because we'd been friends for 25 plus years.
yeah.
A couple of other girls that I've met and stuff, um, you know, they they get it, they understand. Um,
Well,
so
I
it
mean, when I very first started the crash and burn missions and dated out the gate, like I said, I think it was maybe two, maybe three gals, and then I ended up with the one as a fiance. It was like, dude. And then even after when I left this gal that I got engaged to, and we kind of went back into the field as whatever, back looking for a companion. Even 3 years later, from Maple's passing, girls were like, "Hey, man. I don't want to have a date with you and your wife. I don't want to have a date with your wife because basically all you've done during dinner is talk about your past wife, and I'm just not digging it. So I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? It was like I couldn't let that go. You know what I mean? And that was all I had known for the last 30 years was April. So what else did I have to talk about? I'd have
Yeah,
him dated.
I made the same mistake, right? It's, I'm living with, Jen's halo on my head. I wear her pin every day. I've got her ashes on my wrist. And at some point, it's like there's got to be someone out there that understands that I'm not thinking about her every day. Well, I do, but I want the next, I want the next, it sounds bad. So this is the problem, maybe, that I want the next gen, but I know there's not going to be a next gen. And there's not going to be a next April. So that is really one of those things that are hard for us to like overcome, is that we do, I know I do. I get caught up in, oh, I remember when Jen was XYZ, and you know,
Yeah,
Jen used to do it this
and
way.
it's not just tough on us too. I mean, the gals that we're trying to build a relationship with, they're thinking the same thing. I mean, Elisa's freaking amazing. Like I said, we're best friends. We've got everything in the world in common. We finish each other's statements. We laugh about the same stupid shit. We say the same shit at the same time. So you can't get more tied in, right? But still, one of the things she said was, I'm not April. I can't be April. I'm not going to try to replace April. I'm like, babe, I don't want this to sound bad, but I don't want another April. There was one April. Now there's you, and the two shall not meet. And when I digress a little bit, but when I got diagnosed with my cancer, and
Right.
I pulled out a picture of April going through one of her treatments, it was I wanted that for support, right? And I needed that. And so Alicia was totally cool with it. She was like, I see the picture. I know it's out. She goes, if you need that, then that's a good thing. But um, so it's tough for the gals too, as far as worrying about trying to replace someone that you've been with for 35 years.
Yeah, it is. On the flip side, and I want to keep it about us, but on the flip side, most of the women we come across have ex-husbands and stuff. So then
Yeah.
it becomes, who said, she said, what's work, I don't want to hear about the ex-husbands and all that. So then I get that, and I gotta like reel it in and say, okay, I'm not going to talk. I don't want to hear about your ex-husband, and I won't talk about my ex-wife, or not my ex-wife, my passed
Past life.
away wife, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a really fine line. It's tough. This is one of the things I think is important about what we're talking about today. Is is that area where do we draw the line on keeping the past alive, but not dwelling on it with a significant other and making them a carbon copy, having those expectations.
Yeah, and as you move along, like I said, I've been blessed to find an amazing partner. But as guys move along and gals move along in this grief process and trying to date again and meet someone again, and then you've got that family component, which is a whole nother podcast. But I mean, it's like blending families or families accepting the new person. My family never accepted the gal that I got engaged with initially, because they're like, she's crazy, what is wrong with her, and what's wrong with you for asking her, so I felt bad because they never really forgave her for that, and it was tough for them to accept her. So it's tough on the people that we date along with us. And we'll touch a lot on the family, but as far as the dating side of it, it's like, how many dates do you go on before you tell your kids you're dating? God forbid you introduce them to that person,
Right.
right? Because it's like, they're not mom, they're not mom, and our kids
Yeah.
were older, so it helped. But if you have younger kids, that's really tough, trying to integrate that you're dating with your family.
Yeah, we're really, God, I hate using the word lucky, but it just, you know, our kids are older, right? They're in their 30s, late 20s. So they're adults, they're grown ass people. They're going through their own relationship issues. So they get it all. It's not new to them. It's not something they worry about. And I think in my situation, they're just happy that I'm trying and not giving up. And I think that's important to them, that they support me for trying every day.
Yeah. And because the kids realize you've got to continue to live. And I think we'll just wrap this up with that, is that it's like, listen, there's no guilt there, as long as you did all you could, especially if you were a caretaker like you were, which I've been through a lot of cancer stuff with my own journey and then April's journey. I'm telling you, you, sir, are a superhero, as you had it really tough. And so you deserve that happiness on the other side. And I know your kids saw what you did for their mom. They know you deserve that happiness on the other side. So we kind of all need to work together on dealing with the initial grief of it, the loss, the guilt of saying, oh, I can't go out there and be happy. Why is she dead and not me? I can't go be happy.
Right? That's
What,
a big thing. That is huge.
right?
That's a wake up every morning thought every day.
Yeah, I mean, and then now add that to the dating. It makes it even harder because here you are having a good time with someone, drinking and doing whatever, and then you're like, ow, I mean, especially if it's too soon. But I mean, I think that's just something that you just have to get through. Like we talked about, and the thing is, even intimacy, it's like, oh, that was brutal. When I tried to be intimate for the first time in a couple of years, right? So the
Right?
old plumbing, the old bits and pieces, the old twig and berries, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. No, I've been with the
You're like,
same person for 30 years. I have no clue. Can you like paint my numbers on your body so I even know what any of these body parts are?
no, and not to get too weird, but it's like, well, crap, this worked before. It should work on you.
Hey, listen, I don't care if it sounds weird or not. We're here to open this up. I had the worst ED, erectile dysfunction, limp wood, whatever you want to call it, for like the first 3 times. And this is a guy I was going to get engaged to, right? I mean, for like the first 3 times, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my twigs and berries. My, you know, it's just like, I swear to God, this worked like 2 years ago. It worked right. You know, it's just, there was stress to it. It was massively uncomfortable. I mean, I hadn't been with someone else besides April in 30 years. It was
Right?
really uncomfortable. It was scary. You want to do a good job, and you
Want to
suck.
try? Give it a shot.
I don't know, but I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, if your head is in the grief or the guilt or the shame, or if your just head is somewhere else, you're struggling in that department. And it's just another thing that guys, deal with when they're going through this grief process.
Yeah, and again, we'll wrap this up with, again, Grief Pie is about us talking to guys about guy stuff. Gals can jump in and listen and give it 2 cents if they want. Um, but we're really talking about really raw stuff. This is really raw. I mean, when we talk about this, people listen, you have to understand this really comes from the gut. I mean, if I've got to tell you that on my first date after my wife died, I threw up all over the Uber. I mean, that's raw, right? No one wants to admit that you went on a date and before you even got to the restaurant, you're puking your guts out because you have no idea what's going to happen. So, this is raw stuff, folks. Gary and I are not fake. We are real, and we are grief pie.
Well, and I love you, brother, and that's 100% true. And again, we'll leave it on this is basically, if we're not going to talk about the real stuff, then we shouldn't even be wasting our time, anybody's time. I mean, I love you. You've really struggled. You've really had it tough. you're only a couple years out. I'm, way out there, but this has helped me so much because it's bringing stuff up, which is not good. It's not healthy, poor Lisa, but it's fun. It's time for me, and if I can get one message across, I know we're talking about relationship, but I'll finish with this is that like you said, there's no playbook. There's no time frame. You don't get through it. You don't get over it. You don't get around it. You just have to live every day with it, right? And that's the
Through
whole
it.
line. Just keep moving forward, but get out there and date. There's no guilt with the date.
Yep.
Go get yourself some shanga bang bang bang. Get around people. Don't lock yourself down, but there's no guilt to going out and trying to find love again, trying to find companionship again, because we all need it, man. Right?
And we'll tie this thing into a bow.
Yep.
Thank God for those people I met the other night in Nashville, the widowies, because it really got me thinking about, two widowies getting together at some point, that there's hope and there is light at the end of every tunnel. So,
Yeah.
I love you.
Go ahead.
No, I love you. I just
I
love
love you more. And then so thank you guys for listening in. Please like, comment, good comments, bad comments about this topic. Please share if you've got some experiences in this. You have questions about it, you could reach out to Jim and I anytime, because again, it's about two guys sharing grief one bite at a time. And we love you guys. Jimma,
Love you.
soon, my brother. Love you.
See you on the backside.
This has been our weekly broadcast, brought to you by the Grief Podcast Studios. We can be found in audio-only format on all the popular podcasting platforms. Remember to like and subscribe and to hit that alert button so you don't miss any episodes. Thanks again, and until next time, treat yourself gently. And don't bite off more than you can chew. Healing is a process.